The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys.
Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys training camp
In Oxnard, California.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Standback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Yeomans.
Welcome to Talkin Cowboys. We are live from training camp in Oxnard, California. It is a nice, sunny 73 degrees. I am Josh Rodriguez, filling in for Kyle Yeomans. Isaiah Standback will also be back next week. I'm here with Patrik Walker. I'm here with Tommy Yarrish. Christopher Beamer is in the front, and we are here live.
Beamer in the front.
In the front. We'll always take Chris Beam in the front. And we're here live from training camp in Oxnard, California. We're off. We're doing our thing. We're happy to be here. It's nice and sunny. It was cloudy a second ago, and for the big boys out there, it was lovely. It was lovely, and now it's a little sunny, and now I'm a little uncomfortable, but that's all right. We're still doing our thing. We're still doing a hoodie, and we're still doing shorts.
It just means that God's watching the podcast, because it was cloudy about 5-10 minutes ago. A few minutes right before we went live, clouds parted, sun came out.
Yeah.
Why do we do the podcast with a hole in the roof, huh?
Because so God can watch.
His
So
favorite
God can
podcast.
watch his favorite
The
podcast.
number one rated podcast.
That's right. The people have spoken.
Sources say.
People have
Sources
spoken.
say.
You mentioned
We are the people's champs.
you mentioned
Just
the
bring it.
hoodie and all that. Real quick as we get started here, I want to say thanks to our friends at the Cowboys Pro Shop for hooking us up with some great gear. You can get this like little short sleeve hoodie deal. I love this. I'm gonna wear the heck out of this. So
I love this. I love
thanks
this.
to our
And the
friends.
material is so
It's
soft.
so soft.
What is this, velvet?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I didn't get that one, and I am green with jealous rage.
Yeah, and
Thank you for
and
joining
I'm-
us.
Relax, Bruce.
I'm very happy. So, thanks to our friends at the Cowboys Pro Shop, and you can get one of these your own at the Cowboys Pro Shop. So
can.
if you
It's
want to be comfortable,
shop.dallascowboys.com or
yeah, something like that. But if you want to be comfortable just like me up here,
I
in
love
this
it.
73-degree weather, and
You look great. I'm going to fight
Thank
you
you.
for that hoodie.
thank you.
It's going to get a little chippy out here.
Yeah,
Guess where else it's getting chippy? You like that?
good transition.
On the practice field.
Good segue.
segue.
Quality.
Getting chippy on the practice field.
Quality segue.
We're getting into practice. We're getting into, what's this, day 4, day 5?
Well,
like
we're
that?
2 practices down now.
Okay, fair enough. Shoddy addressed the fights that were happening at camp. We saw
Did.
one early on day 1. No big deal. Little skirmish. No big deal. Day 2 was a little interesting. Things got real chippy. Maybe a punch or two thrown. I don't know. Sources say maybe a punch
Per
or two
source
thrown.
informed, there was a couple of punches thrown.
Shoddy talked about it. Punches can't be. We can't be throwing punches
Nope.
out there. Can't do it. And I know he's talking about a new culture and being intense, finding ways to be intense, but you have to be disciplined at the same time. Boys, is this toxic culture that we're seeing from the Dallas Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer?
No, I
All
mean
right.
this is normal. I think this is football. I think you heard it from.
It's a contact sport.
Yeah, it's a contact sport, and these are guys who have been wanting to go for a while now, right? And now they finally get a chance to kind of let it out a little bit, and not as much as they should be. Pads come on Sunday. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for you to go and hit somebody.
Yeah.
So, you just gotta know how to practice, right? And you got to know how to practice. This is their first time practicing under Brian Schottenheimer, I think. As well as he could. He shut everything down pretty quick, and the Cowboys staff shut everything down pretty quick. But punches and stuff like that, pushing and shoving, that's one thing, right? Like that's naturally gonna happen. Like Keemon Hall and CeeDee Lamb got into it yesterday, and they got into a
You had a
shoving
great
match.
video of that.
Thanks, man.
On your Twitter. Shouts to
So
Tommy's Twitter.
they got into a shoving match, throw the ball one another. That's fine. These guys are going at it. They're I think Dak put it really well in his press conference. He's like, man, these guys are fighting for jobs. They're fighting for their livelihood out here. So it's intense. It's going to be high pressure, and naturally, is just human nature. That stuff's going to happen. So you just can't let it boil over too far.
Is it toxic? Absolutely not. You know what I would view as toxic? A football team, well, of course, but a football team that doesn't show physicality, does not show intensity, shows some type of, lackadaisical behavior toward what is another pivotal season for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, this is a pressure-packed season for several reasons on several layers. Of course, the most prevalent is going to be the fact that you're bringing in a new head coach. But on top of that, this is his first time as an NFL head coach. He has a lot to prove as early as year one. So if you're Brian Schottenheimer, you want, and I love what Dak Prescott said yesterday about it. He said that it's about walking the line. He said it's a fine line. Excuse me. It's about being competitive but not being combative, and that's what it needs to be. But he said it's healthy, and I agree with Dak Prescott. It is healthy, but I also agree with Brian Schottenheimer in saying you can't throw punches. You absolutely can't throw punches. A shoving match here and there, okay, fine. That's called alpha males squaring off in a circle and getting their business on, okay? But when it comes to, what we saw in day 2 with the huge scrum and a couple punches were thrown here and there, that can't happen, because if you're allowing it as a head coach to happen in practice, then you're going to ultimately have a hard time policing it in a game when that third down is on the line, the quarter is on the line, the game is on the line, and that's going to be the difference, especially in a division that's as feverishly competitive as the NFC East. That can be the difference between you making the playoffs and you being on the outside looking in by 1 or 2 games. So we talk about penalties, self-discipline, being able to control what you can control. You can control what your hands are doing when it comes time to get face to face with a guy. And on top of that, I am eternally on the level of one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in life, and I play ball. Why would you throw a punch at a guy wearing a helmet?
Yeah.
The helmet always wins.
It's always a good question.
It's an interesting decision.
Always a good question.
But as you're saying, emotions are high. You have men out here competing against one another, showing that they're dogs out there.
Which I love.
I like seeing it, but as Brian Schottenheimer said, that there has to be a way to discipline it. And another thing that you wrote in your article following up Brian Schottenheimer talking about it is that when you have aggressiveness to that level, when you control it, it is all the more dangerous. That, to me, is indicative of who this team. It's a good thing that early on in camp we're seeing these things, but you don't want that to reflect on the field on Sunday when you're going against teams. Fines can be incurred, and you can get players eliminated off the field, thrown off the field for throwing punches. It's not good. We've seen it before. We don't want it to happen.
Here's what I said, and feel free to check out the article on DallasCowboys.com that I wrote based upon what Shotty said about how he's policing and how he expects the Dallas Cowboys to act in practice. And for those of us that were present in real time, it was refreshing to see Schottenheimer's response.
He got into it.
He got into it. There were F-bombs flying all over the place. And then magically, there were no other incidences thereafter in that particular practice. Of course, we had almost one yesterday. But then what do we see? Schottenheimer runs in. He helps pull Keemon Hall off. Keemon had it cocked back. What did Schottenheimer say? Don't do it. Don't do it. Because Schottenheimer is going to penalize these guys as it would be in the game. You're probably going to miss some reps out here in practice. You might get a fine by the team out here in training camp. So ultimately, to your point, Josh, like I said in the article, intensity plus control equals wins, equals success. That's how you do it. You need to be the most intense you can be, but at the end of the day, you have to stand on that razor's edge effectively.
And holding players accountable, I think, is a huge part of it, too. And holding the coaching staff responsible
There's
for
that
it as well.
accountability word again.
It keeps coming up.
It keeps coming up with Schottenheimer's culture. Okay, I like that.
I like it.
It's tasty, spicy.
Another thing you guys can control, or the players can control on the field, turnovers.
Yes.
That's been a big emphasis, at least for me, watching practice over the past couple of days. You're seeing a lot of turnovers. You're seeing the defense making a lot of plays. Now, I guess outside looking in, when you hear about interceptions, I think at practice, especially at training camp, when you're instilling a brand new offense, it comes with the territory. You want those chances to be taken out here versus on Sunday against whoever it is. My thing is fumbles, ball security. We're seeing quite a bit of that so far. First week of camp, first couple days, instilling those things. Does that concern you at all about Shotty's offense?
Not necessarily. I think the fumbles that we've seen, right? I think when you think about earlier in practice, these are way after the play is blown dead, right? These are training camp reps to where hey, they want everybody to run through the finish, right? They want everybody to run through the finish. I mean, I think back to the one that Donovan Wilson knocked out. Yeah. I don't remember who the receiver was, but he was 20, 30 yards down the field just thinking he was fine, and then Donovan Wilson comes in and punches the ball out. So there's a catch-22, right? Because on one hand, when Matt Eberflus's defenses have been at their best, they're forcing turnovers, they're stopping the run. We've talked about that extensively. And so when you see that, Malik Hooker getting a one-handed pick, Zion Childress, the undrafted free agent out of Kentucky, getting a pick, those are all things that, encourage you. And those were two plays and those guys just made it. It wasn't necessarily a bad, I guess you could say it was bad passes from Dak and Joe Milton who throw the picks, but those guys made a heck of a play.
Absolutely.
So
Malik Hooker's interception, that
was the play of the day yesterday.
That's an example of it was not a bad pass. Malik Hooker just made the play.
I think Dak underthrew it a little bit. And it allowed him to make it. Nonetheless, it was a great play. And
now, I will say there have been a bad pass or two. The pick by Marshawn Nealon, don't make that throw.
Yeah, that was just
don't throw that.
That was
don't
that's
throw
one
that.
You got to throw
don't
that
throw
away.
that. So it's to Tommy's point, it's a mix of, well, first of all, to answer your question, no, I'm not concerned with the offense because I believe the offense will get that cleaned up. Because we talk about Brian Schottenheimer taking over as head coach. Guess what? He's also taking over as offensive play caller. You have new pieces in play, whether it be George Pickens, whether it be, Tyler Guyton going into year 2, Tyler Booker, a rookie right guard. 4 new faces in the running backs room. The list goes on and on. So they need time to kind of finish their installation in jail. From an Eberflus standpoint, that makes it easier for your guys to make plays on the ball, right?
Absolutely.
And when you're talking about punching the ball away, which is, just one example of that's not based on scheme. Right, so while the Cowboys' offense is working on scheme and routes and timing and things like that, if you're a defensive player, one thing that's never going to be predicated upon what the scheme was, what the play call was, is if you're near me and that ball is near me, I can punch at it. Okay, if you make the throw and I'm in the vicinity, I can go up and try to get that ball. So kudos to the defense. I mean, they're just taking the ball away time and time again. Malik Hooker, Kyer Elam, you mentioned Zion Childress, Donovan Wilson's punching the ball free. I mean, these guys are really getting after it on defense. And it's going to what Schottenheimer is predicting in that the Cowboys, quote unquote, will be one of the top teams in the league in takeaways. So far, so good. We'll see if it plays out in a very Dan Quinn-ish way, but so far, so good.
Well, keep me honest. Do the interceptions kind of give you guys any sort of are you fine as far as them learning this new offensive scheme? Are you fine with seeing an interception or two, or is it just literally I don't want to see it at all?
I'm fine seeing it in training camp.
It's training camp, and it's the first week.
Get it out the
camp.
way.
Right.
It's training camp.
I think that sometimes maybe we put too much stock into, let's
training
say if
camp
Dak
stats.
has 2, if Dak has 2 picks on the day, it's. The guy's going to throw interceptions. He's going to throw interceptions in the regular season. Every quarterback does. Yep. It's going to happen. And, this is a guy who's coming back from injury. He's still, I don't know if he's knocking the rust off at this point because he was there for OTAs and things like that. But, he's getting used to a new receiver in George Pickens and trying to understand what Brian Schottenheimer wants. I don't know if Dak necessarily going into year 10 and he's had several years working with Brian Schottenheimer, if there's necessarily a lot that he has to pick up or a lot that he has to learn or a lot that he has to change at this point in his career. But nonetheless, it takes time to mesh everything together, and it takes time to get back up to training camp speed because I think training camp speed is different than OTA speed. OTA is a lot of install and, getting these guys up to speed. And, it's the guys around him too. George Pickens getting comfortable and these running backs getting comfortable. 2 running backs Dak Prescott's never played with. And right now they don't have pads on, so we can't really tell a lot from the running backs. So, no, it doesn't concern me at all. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen again. Dak Prescott's going to throw more interceptions during training camp, but he's also going to throw touchdowns. I mean, I thought the offense responded pretty well yesterday after those first couple of picks. It looked rocky at first, but they made some good plays down the stretch.
Well, wasn't it after the Malik Hooker interception, immediately
to
following that play was one of the best passes I'd seen all of camp, Dak to George Pickens
for a touchdown
in a corner end zone.
On an out route. Yeah,
just insane, man.
Yeah,
George Pickens. that, and not to mention just the relationship that and chemistry that Dak is already building with George Pickens this early in training camp. I mean, that's like one of my favorite things to see is George Pickens out here because it looks like he's having a great time. I don't know what was going on in Pittsburgh, but it seems like he's very happy to be here.
It bears mentioning what you just said in that George Pickens, again, don't know where the narrative came from out in Pittsburgh. I'm not in Pittsburgh, so I don't know. All I can do is based upon what I'm seeing. And George Pickens is having the time of his life
He's having fun,
out
man.
here. And if you don't believe us, there are plenty of videos that show him dancing and celebrating with CeeDee Lamb, the grenade celebration.
He took that from us, actually. We typically do that after the show, and then they saw us doing it, and they were like, oh, well,
and then I got it from Ronald Acuna. So, but, I mean, yeah, I got it from Ronald Acuna.
Okay.
I, Thomas, got it from Ronald Acuna. But no, again, just to recap really quickly, I mean, this is an offense that not only are they looking to install a new scheme in Brian Schottenheimer, but Schotty keeps talking about multiple looks, multiple sets, right? So they're trying to install multiple things, under center, shotgun. You saw Dak Prescott take off on a read option yesterday. So while they're doing all of this and trying to get timing and everything down, advantage defense, because all you have to do is react to an offense that's still working out a lot of tweaks. So are there some throws that Dak Prescott and Joe Milton and Will Grier want back through the first two practices? Absolutely there are. There are some bad throws there, but then there are some throws that it was just an athletic play, so kudos to the defense. But again, to your point, do I care about am I worried about interceptions in training camp? No, because this is when you experiment. This is when you see what works, so that when you get to the regular season and it's September 4th and it's against the Philadelphia Eagles, you know what to try and what to not try.
What? Don't do
that, but do that.
All right, boys. I have a big question for you guys when we get back from the break. I need you to pick one offensive player, one defensive player. Biggest standouts from camp so far, week one. When we come back, Talkin Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed, like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys, live from Oxnard, California. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, boys. I'm going to throw back to Kyle. Kyle loves reading the YouTube comments, and he always brings you back the comment of the day from YouTube. Shouts to my boy Alf, the Alf, the alien.
The Alf.
Josh, if you're on the show, I need an I don't know Jim to start the show. Well, it's the second segment, so I'll just give you one real quick. I don't know Jim. Tommy does a really good one too.
I don't know, Jim.
Tommy does an excellent I don't know,
I think my favorite, that's like up there with the great like Tony Romo CBS Sports moments, but I think my favorite moment was I think he was calling either when Tyreek Hill's either with the Chiefs or the Dolphins, and he got the telestrator out, and he's like, and Tyreek Hill's going to do this. And he just drew like this giant loop. It was hilarious.
I love it.
Touchdown, and he finished it was like touchdown.
Shout out to my boy Tony Romo, good friend of mine. I don't know.
Good friend of the program.
Also, real quick, shout out to Wrestling with the Bros. I'm always going to shout out my fellow wrestling aficionados. Shout out to my guy, man. All Cowboys fans who are also big wrestling fans, whether it be WWE, AEW, TNA, whatever the case may be, we love you.
R.I.P. to the Hulkster. Not the other guy. All right, boys. One offensive player, one defensive player that stood out the most in Week 1. All right? I need you guys to give me just one apiece. Tommy, you want to go first?
Well, defense is easy. Donovan is Zaraku.
Okay.
Defense is
don't take
easy.
my pick.
Well, the defense is pulled.
Did you do it on purpose?
Yeah.
Or did I just help
guess.
you?
No,
It's
you
a bar
did.
either way.
You did help.
It's a bar either way.
Actually, exactly what I was going for. No, defense is easy, and Donovan is making it look very easy. See, that was even better. But this guy's. When we were talking about him on the draft show, I think a point that we made a lot of times was, hey, this is a guy who is one of, if not the more pro-ready guys coming out of the draft, right? This is a guy who led the ACC in sacks last year. He won the award for the best college football defensive end last year, and he was just dominant at Boston College. And I think yesterday was the day. His second practice was really good, but yesterday was a day where, when I was doing training camp live with Mickey or just standing on the sideline on the back of the end zone, I'm like, man, he is beating everybody. I mean, his first step is unbelievable. He's got great bend. The bend is something that we talked about all the time with him, where he can just blow past you and he can use his arms really well to just make the right move and beat the tackle. And, Tyler Guyton's a guy who has had some good reps, but, man, Donovan Zaraku had him beat bad a couple of times out there. And so, as we've talked about a lot, the defensive end room, like, this is one of the more deep rooms that the Cowboys have on this roster.
Deep.
There you go. If Donovan Zaraku
I'll allow it.
turns out to be the second best defensive end on this team behind Micah Parsons, the Cowboys are going to be set there for years to come, because I think this kid's the real deal. He's going to be a really good football player for a really long time, and he's just starting to show the flashes here early of what he can be.
Patrick, before you give your defensive, give me a little bit more about Easy. What you're
Well,
saying.
it's funny you say that, because that's also my biggest defensive
I feel like there have been guys who have had
right
good days, but Zaraku the last two practices just blows you away.
It should be a consensus right now. And everything Tommy said, and let me add to this, he's already, and I tweeted this, as a rookie, no exaggeration, no hyperbole, as a rookie coming into the league, he's easily one of the best, one of the best technicians at his pass rush that I've seen, and not just
as a rookie,
not just so technically sound in one or two moves. He has the array of pass rush moves and the ability. And Schottenheimer said this to me yesterday or the day before when I asked him about Easy. He said he has the ability to set the edge as well, which we're seeing as far as run defense on the edge goes. But when you talk about the dip, the bend, the first step is absolute insanity. His first step is instantly comparable to two players in this defensive end room, Micah Parsons and Sam Williams.
Insane.
And that is an insane compliment for a rookie who did not play at a huge program, but by the way, he's a record setter at his program in Boston College. You see everything you need to see from this guy and more that not only justifies him being a second-round pick, but you start to wonder why he fell out of the first round.
But to that point, though, when you're choosing a defensive end, one of the most important positions in our game, but when you're choosing one in the second round, you're typically drafting a guy that has a move, maybe two. Traits,
all the
possibilities,
moves.
High ceilings. What this guy is showing you out here is that he looks like he has sort of all of those things combined into one package. For a second-round defensive end of his caliber to be picked that late in the second round, it's impressive.
And I'm going to use a line from my good friend Vach Lombardi. Teams don't know how to draft. Teams don't know how to draft. And so, when we look back at this draft 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line or something, you're going to look at guys ahead of Donovan Ezeraku if he, continue. Obviously, we don't know what kind of career he's going to have, but I could very well see a scenario where it's like, how on earth did you think this guy was going to be better than Ezeraku? And, it just goes back to when I talked to Bill O'Brien about this kid earlier in the offseason after the Cowboys drafted him. He's a little bit undersized. He's not necessarily the tallest guy at defensive end. He's not necessarily the stockiest guy, but he's just so technically sound. And that's what Bill O'Brien, who has seen some very good defensive ends in his day, namely a guy like J.J. Watt, when he was with the Houston Texans.
Kind of good at what he did.
I think so. He's
a little bit.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer or something.
He's a little better.
But, this is a guy who just finds a way to get into the backfield. And it's a guy who's, he's the first person that Bill O'Brien met when he took the job at Boston College. This is a guy who loves football, and he loves being a leader on his team. So it wouldn't shock me at all if this guy is a centerpiece for the Cowboys defense going forward.
And I'll say this one final, in closing on Ezeraku, is his ability coming in. And it's early. We'll see what his trajectory continues to look like. But my God, is he off to a fast start. But what it does is we're sitting here talking about a rookie after day 2 being the biggest defensive standout in a defensive end room. Granted, Micah Parsons not on the field right now. But, oh, by the way, Dante Fowler's out there.
And Dante Fowler's on a revenge tour.
And Dante Fowler looks fantastic. And we're still talking about Ezeraku, a rookie. So Ezeraku doing what he's doing, it's going to push Dante Fowler even more so than Dante's already being pushed on his revenge tour coming off a career season. Sam Williams has more than enough motivation to get out there already, having missed all of last season with a torn ACL. Talked to Sam yesterday, and he said with a smile, when the pads get on, he was like, I'm going to try to kill somebody at least once. He was like,
he already has.
Yeah, he said, I want everybody to be safe. This is his quote. He said, I want everybody to be safe, but at least once I'm going to try to kill somebody.
He killed Tyler Neville on the first day.
He did. So point being, when you see this level of ability within this defensive end room, including Ezeraku, this level of competition where they're looking at each other saying, anything you can do, I can do better. And let's not forget Marshawn Nealon, first camp interception. And he's also going to look to challenge as well. He's still my dark horse as far as potential breakout player in camp. This defensive end room, we talk about the concerns, rightfully so, about defensive tackle. Defensive end, I have no concerns. It's very exciting.
Okay, I'm going to change it up a little bit. Obviously, Easy is the standout on defense, and especially for a rookie at this point. I want to be a little different, and I want to look at one Maris Leofau. Boys, he's flying out here.
He is.
He's flying. He looks lean. He looks so fast. From his interview now on DallasCowboys.com, he was saying that the game is sort of slowing down for him. The way I've seen him diagnosing defenses so far is not typical in the way that you would see a second-year player now learning a brand-new defensive scheme. I'm surprised to see that sort of jump from him so far, having to learn a new defensive scheme. So I really do want to give a quick shout-out to Maris Leofau.
Absolutely.
But what are you guys seeing on the field? You guys are definitely on there a lot more than I am, so I kind of want your emphasis on this.
Yeah, no, Maris Leofau is a guy who, towards the end of the year last year got more opportunities and kind of made the most of them. This is a guy who is better as a blitzer than I think people give him credit for, but it's super smart player. Like he had all the smarts coming out of Notre Dame, and he was a 5-year player, I think, at Notre Dame. So this is a guy who's played a lot of football, who's played it at a high level, and who knows the game really well. And that's what this coaching staff has always been very complimentary about him with. And, he's got a coach in Matt Eberflus that kind of has the Midas touch when it comes to linebackers, right? This guy
Absolutely.
has a very strong track record of producing high-end linebackers. I mean, you just look back at Chicago, Tremaine Edmonds, and, of course, I'm blanking on the other guy's name. I can literally see his number, but beg your pardon. But this is a guy who knows linebackers, who knows the position really well, and he has a past history of making sure that these guys play well in his system, but also making sure these guys know the position really well and can be leaders on the defense. So whether that's Maris Leofau, who in his rookie season was the backup green dot to Eric Kendricks, which I think says a lot about his football acumen and his knowledge of the defense already. Obviously, transitioning to a new system may change things, but this is a guy that the Cowboys are looking to hopefully continue to take the next steps and continue to get down so that he can get some more playing time.
And to Tommy's point, as far as Maris being getting tutored and taught and coached by Matt Eberflus, when Eberflus was here in his first stint with the Cowboys as linebackers coach, yeah, he had an insane talent in Sean Lee. Unfortunately, 50 couldn't stay healthy. However, the talent was there. You saw what Sean Lee was able to do when healthy. But then he coached up guys like Anthony Hitchens to getting big free agency deals, right? Being effective at what they were doing. So this is the type of coach that Marist is combining his ability with, and the ability is through the roof, because even coming out of Notre Dame, what was one of the biggest positives for him? It was football acumen. It was his ability to read, diagnose, and absorb entire playbooks. And it's showing now because the game is slowing down for Marist. And it looks like on several fronts, during a rep here or there, that he knows the play before the offense knows the play, because he's there at the spot by the time the ball carrier gets to the spot, whether it be a handoff or whether it be an outlet pass to the left or right of center. So Marist is poised, especially with the absence of Overshown for a large chunk of the season, maybe half the season. I don't know. The way he was running yesterday, we'll see. But a lot is going to be put upon Marist Liufau. A lot was put upon him last year, and what did he do? He stepped up, like Tommy said, and became the green dot behind Eric Kendricks when Eric Kendricks went down. Sanborn is coming in with a particular role. Kenneth Murray is coming in with a particular set of skills. I like it, Liam Neeson. But really, going forward, the future of the Cowboys linebacker corps has two names written all over it: Marist Liufau, DeMarvion Overshown. And I think Marist is going to show as early as this season why that is.
I think I saw the entire Cowboys training staff collectively faint when DeMarvion Overshown started running yesterday.
He claimed it was only 70%. When I dropped the clip on Twitter, and thanks for pointing it out to me, Tommy, he responded. He said it was just 70%, and then kind of funny off the cuff, Josh and I last night, we're getting ready to go and see Fantastic Four. And then who walks up to us with the biggest smile on his face? DeMarvion Overshown. And I said, Demo, was that really 70%? And he was like, oh, it probably was less. Yes, please.
He's blazing out there.
Yes, please.
Hey, just take it easy, man.
I'm sure the coaching staff agrees with you, Tommy.
That's what Britt Brown's probably telling him. Take it easy, buddy.
That took up an entire segment. So when we come back, we're going to get to our offensive standout of camp so far, week one. When we come back, Talkin Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner. With over $9 billion in business loans and more than 140 business specialists right here in North Texas, we help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
AT&T has a new guarantee because most things in life are not guaranteed. Like getting through self-checkout by yourself.
Warning, each item must be placed in the bagging area.
Not guaranteed.
Place item in the bagging area. Place item in the bagging area.
You know what AT&T guarantees? Connectivity you depend on, deals you want, and service you deserve. Or we make it right. Terms and conditions apply. Visit att.com/guarantee for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys, live from training camp in Oxnard, California, presented by American Airlines. The 2025 Fan of the Year is presented by Captain Morgan. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
I did not know, but thank you for bringing up Captain Morgan, because don't mind if I do later this evening.
Yeah, I was going to say, me and Patrick are going to be singing Kumbaya together.
Don't mind if I do. Leg up and everything.
Yeah.
I have my leg up and everything, like Beamer's doing right now. I wish y'all could see Beamer. He was doing the Captain Morgan pose.
Beamer in the front.
That's the one, Beamer.
Captain Beamer.
All right, boys. It's our last segment of Talkin Cowboys here in the first week of training camp. We will be back next week. We'll be back next week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with Kyle Yeomans. Wait, right?
Yeah.
Beamer's looking at me all strange. Are we
Kyle's Tuesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Thursday. Today is Friday.
That's
I got
right.
my weeks all mixed up. We'll be back next week. Kyle, all right? He'll do this better than I will. It's fine.
I think
no
you're doing
big
a great
deal.
job.
I was going to say, don't be so hard on yourself, bro. You're cooking up here, man.
Oh, God.
You're cooking up here.
I'm happy to be here, guys.
Even though you guys are kicking me off the show for Kyle Yeomans.
I don't know why.
Huh?
We should have Tommy.
Oh, I'm back?
It's 4 seats.
Oh, I thought Isaiah was back.
No.
Oh,
he's still doing his
I
Good
still
Morning
miss you,
Football
Isaiah.
thing. Yeah, he's doing his
he's got his Good Morning Football
Isaiah's
stuff going on
too-
next week. All right, well, we won't see Isaiah.
We still miss and love you, Isaiah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make your way back. Make your way out here.
He's all right. All right, boys. Final segment. He's all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about offensive standouts. Now, I want to, before you guys get into the hot players, the playmakers, the receivers.
I'm not taking the low-hanging fruit.
The touchdown getters out there. I need a quick shout out to a certain player that I think is carrying himself like a veteran while being the first-round pick of the 2025 NFL season, and that is one Tyler Booker.
Yes.
Boys, what I've seen from Tyler Booker so far, just said it, he carries himself like a veteran. I think the communication that he's had so far with the offensive line, not necessarily on the line of scrimmage, but in the huddle, off to the side, it genuinely feels like he's been here before. He's acting like he's been there before. And it's something that I think is going to impact a player like Tyler Guyton, who came in last year saying all the right things, but I think kind of halfway through lost his confidence a bit, just kind of get the mental game around it all. So far, granted, first week, Tyler Booker seems to have that confidence in spades, and I think a player like Tyler Guyton is going to feed off of that. And as long as the communication is there, and as long as they're clanging and banging on the offensive line, you're going to continue to see confidence grow across the line and become whole. I'm really excited about it. What can you guys tell me about Tyler Booker so far?
So far, he looks the part. I mean, obviously, physically, he looks the part. Like you said, he's carrying himself both on and off the field like a professional. He's holding up well against guys like Solomon Thomas, for example. And by the way, Solomon Thomas looks pretty damn good out there. There's a couple plays where Tyler Smith handled him because Tyler Smith is Tyler Smith. But there are a couple of plays where
My twin Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, there's a couple of twinsies. I see the resemblance.
I know. We look exactly the same.
Mostly in the chiseled form.
Exactly.
That's really where it boils down.
I'm wearing a long sleeve, but you don't see these biceps going on.
Yeah, that's because
baby.
you're trying to get them to focus on what we're saying and not detract from.
Exactly.
And I respect it. I appreciate that. Share the camera with Tommy and I.
I know I'm the eye candy of the podcast, but boys, there's a limit.
And these nice shirts from
this
the Dallas Cowboys
show.
Pro
A whole
Shop.
starburst right here, a whole starburst. But Tyler Booker, like you said, he's doing everything right. It is early in camp. I can't say that he's, as a rookie, standing out as Ezraku is, but that's not a knock to Tyler Booker. That's simply more and more credit to Ezraku. And, of course, these are different positions as well, so you have to assess an offensive lineman differently than you assess an edge rusher. But I like what I'm seeing from Tyler Booker. I will say this, he's not getting pushed around. He's not getting pushed around.
Well, he's doing the pushing around. I think yesterday was the day where I saw the best rep we've seen from Tyler Booker. I mean,
tell us about it.
He took Mozzie Smith
and
just completely moved him out of the way, and Cooper Beebe went up to the next level, took the linebacker out. And Javonte Williams probably had the most running room in front of him that he has had since college. I mean, it was just the sea parted, and it was all because of what Booker did to Mozzie. And I'm not saying Mozzie Smith is, he
that's a whole different conversation.
He lost that rep.
And he lost that rep. It's one rep.
He lost that rep.
He still needs to take the next step. But, man, that was the play where, afterwards you see how giant the hole was for the running back to run through. And you go back and say, well, how'd that happen? Tyler Booker. I mean, just completely threw him out of the club, and that was the best rep we've seen. But he's a road grader, right? That's what he was at Alabama.
Yes.
This is a guy who is going to pave the way. He moves really well. When you see him run onto the field, he's not the most athletic guy. It's not a problem. He is plenty athletic for a guy his size.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a gazelle playing right guard for you.
I was going to say, he's also
right?
not a tackle. So
he's a strong dude, and you saw it on that play. Because Mozzie Smith's not weak either. Like, he's a strong guy, and he's known for his strength. But that rep, man, Booker just –
it was telling.
It was unbelievable. And, that's –
both sides of the ball, but I think we need to address the defensive side on our next show.
Yeah. Right.
Did you have any?
I want using what you said as a segue about Tyler Booker, and thanks for the alley-oop. I'm going to go to Tyler Guyton. There's some easily low-hanging fruit that's justified. If I wanted to say George Pickens, for example, if I wanted to say CeeDee Lamb, I could say those two things and be very well justified in doing so. But I want to give credit to a young man who is taking strides that are much needed at Dak Prescott's blind side to hopefully keep Dak Prescott clean, upright, healthy. Is Tyler Guyton. What I'm seeing from Tyler Guyton in the offseason is, in the first two practices at least, it's beginning to translate over onto the field. We already knew that Tyler Guyton had exceptional footwork, particularly stemming from his days as a basketball player. His footwork is just fairly exceptional. It was his handwork. It was some of his strength. It was his ability to move his mass. Right, there was a little bit too much unnecessary mass on his frame last year. So what does he do? He changes his diet completely, cuts out fried foods, goes mostly protein. I mean, we see the guy working out in the rain doing boxing drills. He's working on his hands. That work that he's put into hand placement, strength, ability to punch, ability to strike. He's doing a lot of work with none other than Tyron Smith, okay, this offseason, trying to figure out how to get some of those techniques and translate them. And you're seeing it. Does he win every rep? No. But I've seen him win multiple reps against Dante Fowler. Didn't we just say Dante was coming in hot? And yet Dante's not winning every rep against Tyler Guyton. I've seen him get stonewalled a couple of times by Guyton. There was another one, Marshawn Nealon, just yesterday. Marshawn gave Guyton a fantastic dip bend. But Guyton used that against him because Guyton knew that it was an outside run. So all he did was use it to seal him off completely, and that was the play, I believe, that Deuce Vaughn basically just took off and ran. Right? So when you start to see Tyler Guyton take these strides and his confidence is definitely there, the motivation is there, I'm going to give the young man his due. We'll see ultimately if he can continue to stack good days, but thus far he's stacking some really good days.
The technique for Tyler Guyton has improved on a huge level. Just seeing the way that he's like stoic as the defensive end is bending around him, and that he's able to keep his back straight. They talked about it yesterday on the break. Very impressively. Check that out on DallasCowboys.com. Third-ranked podcast under Talkin Cowboys. But
really quickly before you throw to Tommy, because we love our commenters, we do. I got to say this. Call out says Tyler Guyton got destroyed yesterday. If you're talking about that rep from Ezraku, anybody would have gotten destroyed. Did you see the get off? The get off was so good it looked like it was offsides, but it wasn't offsides. Bottom line. Also, everyone's not going to win every rep.
Of course.
So Tyler Guyton lost that rep just like Mozzie lost that rep when he got walked out of the club by Tyler Booker. It happens. So I agree with you. He got smoked on that particular rep. But I'm telling you, as those of us are out here that are clocking his reps, he's winning far more often than he's losing.
Call out. Don't try and call us out. Don't do it.
I just wanted just to clarify. I appreciate the comment, but let me add context to that.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah. Offensive standout for me is Jonathan Mingo. I thought he's stacked up some pretty good days here so far.
That's his name-o.
This is a guy who, he's taking some first-team reps, some second-team reps. So I think it's good that he gets, a little bit of connection with Joe Milton and Dak Prescott. This is a guy who I think can really play himself into that wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 range. I think, when you look at behind George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, you've got Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo, and Jalen Tolbert as kind of the three names to watch there. Unless a guy like Jalen Brooks or Ryan Flanoy starts to make a run, or Jalen Cropper. So, but Mingo the last couple of days, we've kind of joked about how, man, if Mingo could have gotten a good pass last year, maybe he's
at least one.
Maybe he gets a little bit better. I feel like every time they threw him the ball, it was like, man, Cooper Rush just threw it off the back of the defender's helmet. Like, how is this guy supposed to have a chance? So, you're seeing some of the reasons why the Cowboys felt that Jonathan Mingo was good enough to trade a 4th-round pick for. Mm-hmm. And obviously the last time they traded a 4th-round pick for a player before Mingo, it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. So is this a guy who can find his role on this team and maybe tap into some of the potential that we saw coming out of Ole Miss, because there was a lot of it. This guy's a second-round pick. He looked really good on film in college, and you saw some of the flashes, and now you're starting to see some of it again. I think, the one that I think he and Joe Milton have really connected a couple of times to where you say, okay, he's having a solid camp. There was one throw where Milton kind of put it maybe a yard or two past him, and he dove out, just couldn't get there. I think it was more on Milton than it was on him.
Deep throw down the seam.
But
yeah,
Jonathan Mingo's been making more plays than not, and I think it's a promising start. And now we just see, can he start mixing in with the first team, and can he start connecting with Dak Prescott and building that trust with Dak Prescott a little bit more to where they trust him to go with that unit too and make plays.
It's interesting that I feel like we all picked really solid, obviously, offensive standouts. There's one that I was just staying away from personally.
No, you got to bring it up.
I don't know if you guys felt the same way about this, and like you also didn't want to choose the one that everyone else is going to choose, so none of us choose him. George Pickens.
That was the low-hanging, justified fruit that I didn't want to pick.
I didn't want to pick him either.
Because it's so easy to –
oh, my goodness.
It's so easy.
It's so fun watching him out here. The chemistry that already has with Dak, we alluded to it earlier. We just have a few minutes. Guys, what is it like seeing a wide receiver that can not only complement CD, but is almost just as dangerous as CD Lamb with the starting offense?
Well, first of all, go Dogs. Let's start there, okay? Right? So the fact that, he's a product of Kirby Smart is no surprise to me. It's no surprise. It's a product. He's a product of the national championship program out in Athens. So seeing him translate
hands right now.
So seeing him translate, I even got the red and black on in honor of George Pickens. So seeing him translate that onto the NFL field for the Dallas Cowboys in tandem with a record-setting All-Pro in CeeDee Lamb, I call them the Terror Twins for a reason, and it's because I don't see how you can defend both of them when it's so difficult to defend one of them. And then, by the way, there are other weapons that are going to step up. Like Jake Ferguson is looking to have. Okay, you can relax, Texas. We're back. We're back to talking.
I thought I talked about Texas a lot. My goodness.
You do. But hey, your school is your school.
As far as I know, no players are from the Art Institute of Dallas.
But seriously, man.
Or else I'd be talking about them.
Seriously though, man, George Pickens, like we talked about at the top of the episode, he's having the time of his life. He makes every catch look easy, even in the drills when he did the seam route and he just caught it with one hand and just left it in that hand. It's just like, come on, guy. And that's what the Cowboys are getting with George Pickens. It's going to be a sight to behold.
Yeah, Pickens gives you an extra dimension, and I don't think we've really seen what George Pickens is best at yet, because he's the go up and get it guy. And I mean, this part of training camp, they're not really throwing a lot of go up and get it passes. So,
well, yesterday was a go down and get it, dude.
Yeah,
like the fact
it
that
was.
He caught it at his feet yesterday.
Yeah,
was
at his feet, and
insane.
Dak Prescott just putting it in the right spot on a quick out route. I think George Pickens is a lot better after the catch than we're giving him credit for. I'm not saying he's I don't know if I'd go as far to say turbo boosters, but
I'm not saying
quick.
he's chirping.
I understand that.
Faster than
he's not the fastest guy on the field, but he is more than adequate after the catch. And I think that if he can continue to build on that aspect of his game and do that, just because he's a freak show athlete, so you add that component into it, and Dak Prescott's going to have a lot of fun this year, I think, with those two.
So.
And I talked about it on the website when we did our 20 question series, in terms of who makes their first Pro Bowl this year. I think it's George Pickens. I think he's going to have that good of a year in the Cowboys offense to where he can go to Hawaii or wherever they're having that thing now.
I agree. And keep in mind, George Pickens is now being moved around a lot more than he's ever been in his career. So you're going to see him at multiple spots. You're going to see him line up opposite CeeDee Lamb. You're going to see him go in motion to be on the same side of CeeDee and vice versa. They're moving him around. They're going to get him over the top for go and get it balls, but he's going to work underneath as well with these quick slants and these quick hitters to get him in position to do yards after the catch against some of these slower linebackers. So George Pickens, I agree. This is setting up to be a Pro Bowl season for him.
It's nice having options at wide receiver
Dogs.
for once. Seriously, I'm sure Dak is going to have a
you're gonna
heck
give
of
me
a
this.
year.
You know how long it's been?
I can't wait until Texas finally beats Georgia at some point.
Listen,
I'm never going to let him hear the end of it.
We got to go. All right, boys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. That'll do it for this edition of Talkin Cowboys. From Oxnard, California, so long! Talkin Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!